hope that you guys are well. A couple of years ago, I had the privilege of going to Washington, D.C., and I went to the Smithsonian, and I got to see the space shuttle, one of the few that they've got in museums in the country. And I remember at the time I was so struck by how immensely massive it was and how tiny, what a little speck I was next to it. And we see that similar feeling, I think, in some of the language that Mary uses in the Magnificat. So let's return to where we were yesterday, looking at Mary's song, looking at the Magnificat at the beginning of Luke chapter 1. And I want to zero in on two parts. And the first starts in verse 47, where she says, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked upon the humble estate of his servant." One of my favorite definitions of humility is that it is not thinking less of yourself, but it is thinking of yourself less. Mary is not demonstrating this kind of faux humility of like, I'm not worthy, who am I? I'm just a worm, I've never done anything. She's not doing that. She is seeing herself rightly in light of God's majesty and worth and bigness and might and power. She clearly understands who God is because she is applying so many of the Psalms throughout what she writes. She understands the characteristics and qualities of God. She understands his position and her position in the created order. And so her humility is not thinking of herself less. It's that she has clearly thought of God quite a bit in the years leading up to when she has this incredible song. And then the second part that I wanted to look at is verse 50, where she says, "His mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation." And that notion of fear is one that I think can be difficult for us to understand appropriately in our current cultural context, and especially because I think by and large the American church and the evangelical church has failed in that we have set up this notion of God as this great judge with bolts of lightning who just can't wait for us to screw up so that he can smite us, right? And yet throughout the Bible we see that is not who God is. That is not what God is doing. He's not waiting for us to screw up so he can punish us. That would cause us to fear. More rightly, what we see as fear and what fear is translated as almost always throughout the Bible is a notion of awe. It's that same sense of awe I felt next to the space shuttle, of seeing just how big and powerful and mighty and beyond comprehension God is, and seeing yourself in light of that bigness. It's not necessarily, when I saw the space shuttle, I didn't think to myself, I am such a worm. I thought, that is so amazing, right? And so I think what Mary is demonstrating is a sense of seeing God and saying, he is so amazing, unless I am so nothing. And so for 2021, as we look to 2021, how can we apply that same sense of humility and fear, of awe, to our understanding of God? Because I think it helps us approach him more rightly. And so maybe take some time, read the Magnificat again this morning, and write down some of your thoughts around what it means to be humble, what it means to stand in fear. And then, we'll talk to you later. Hey, have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.